Welcome to
The ALEJO Show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you very much for being here again with us. This is the ALEJO Show, and today I'm very, very excited because we are going to have a fantastic show with somebody that I've known for a long time. He was my teacher back in 2000. I guess it was 2000, if I'm not mistaken. Someone that I really admired because when he was my teacher, he had never gone to America or England, and he had this amazing English, and that was like an inspiration. I said, like, I want to be like this guy. And today I have the pleasure of having this guy on my show. Fabian, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. Yay.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
You were my teacher in 2000 or
say that,
1999 or something
Maybe.
like this. You look exactly the same as I remember, but I don't.
You don't remember?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you don't. You don't look the same. Okay.
I don't, but you do. You had these little glasses and
Not anymore because I look better this way. They've told me. Yeah.
without glasses.
Yes.
All right. Well, Fabian, thank you very much for being here. Today we're going to talk a lot of things. And first of all, I want to go back to those days when you were my teacher. I remember that you told me that you had never gone to either America or England, and you had this amazing English. And that's the first thing I'm going to ask you. Is it possible to learn English by yourself? Because I think you kind of did that a little bit.
It is possible.
It is possible.
It is possible.
How is that possible? How can people make it happen?
Well, I guess that there has to be an incentive.
Okay. Like a motivation.
Yes.
All right.
In my case, I needed to, because I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to make the money that my teacher was making at the moment.
All right.
I wanted to do
Was it
what
good
my
money?
teacher-
Was it good money?
Yes, it was very good money.
Okay.
We're talking 1996, and this guy comes into the room, and he organizes everybody in a horseshoe fashion, and he sits in the middle. He's the king right there. He's presiding. He has his fresh copy of Times Magazine.
All right.
He's got his cup of coffee, and then he gives us simple directions. Work in pairs, page 10, exercise 2, work for 10 minutes, and then we'll check it out, see how you did. And he
Okay,
starts reading his
that was
magazine.
it.
and
That was
starts
the class.
Drinking the coffee.
All right.
And I say, well, I think I can do that too.
Yeah.
And then I start to ask questions.
What course was that? I mean, in Common European Frame, was that like A1?
That might have been probably A2 bordering
Okay.
on B1 maybe.
Okay. And that previous English was from school, from movies, from previous courses? Nothing. All right.
I came on a blank slate,
All right.
absolutely, to
Okay.
learn English.
All right.
And, well, I asked my teacher then, what if I want to be a teacher here? And he told me right away, and we know this teacher.
Oh, all
we
right.
both know this teacher.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And he told me point blank, no, abort. It's not going to happen.
Really? He said
ever.
you can never be
No?
a teacher.
Yes, exactly.
He told you
Not there.
literally that.
Not there.
Okay.
I mean, like I could be a teacher
Okay.
at some cowboy school,
All right. All
but
right.
not if I wanted to go to this place where I was currently a student.
All right.
And it was aspirational to me
Okay.
because the money was good. And I was a young person who wanted to make it on his own.
Of course, of
You know,
course.
leave home and be independent. So I said, if I ever want to be a teacher, it's going to be here, and that's it. I made up my mind.
Okay.
But he told me, well, he pretty much brought me down from high up in the sky, just one shot, and I was in flames, down.
Okay.
And but I didn't crash.
Okay.
And
you survived.
I just didn't believe him. That's it, because that's my mentality, and it's a common mentality in the place where we live.
Why do you think he told you that? Like you don't
No,
want to
he had his criteria
Okay.
lined up, and he made sense.
Okay.
He told me, number 1, you've never lived in the United States.
All right.
Number 2, you've never experienced the culture firsthand. Number 3,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but at that moment you had never gone to
No.
America
No,
or something
ever.
like this. Just Colombian
Yes.
English speaking.
just listen and repeat.
Okay. All right. Just
Okay.
repeat after me.
Exactly. So I really wanted to make the money he was making, number 1. That was my first incentive. Number 2, I wanted to leave my place. I was studying chemistry back then, And it would have taken me 5, maybe 6 years to complete my degree and then probably look for a job, probably
Okay.
find a job. So I said, this is a shortcut. If I do the courses here, I'll be spending a year and a half and then I'll be ready to teach.
Okay.
That was my idea. Not his idea, obviously. He told me, no, it's not
He
going to
told me-
happen
he
because
told
of
me
this, that, and these other reason, and he made sense.
But you know what? Unfortunately, a lot of times that happens, that somebody says, you know, you're never going to be able to speak good English. I'm going to teach you, but you are not going to be good unless you go travel, spend a lot of money, and live in America or England or whatever for more than 3 years. That's what I've heard a lot. But obviously, it's not.
And then we have to discuss that because that's
All
a
right.
very interesting point, too.
Okay.
But, yes, I didn't have the money,
All right.
not the resources, not the interest in traveling at that point in time. But I did want to leave my house. I
Okay.
wanted to get my own apartment.
Of course, and
And
make some
this
money.
was the meal ticket.
Okay.
And he pretty much, I mean, his response was exactly what I needed.
All right.
Being part of my culture.
Okay.
We're Colombians, and we're Paisas, and we're highly opinionated. And we believe in ourselves a lot.
Sure.
We bet on ourselves. All the money. And I told myself, well, I guess I'm going to have to prove you wrong now.
Okay.
Yes. I quit school, and I started working towards my, let's say, my graduation as an
Sure.
English student.
How do you do it? Did you take a course, like an extra course or something?
Well,
Because you were kind of A2, you told me, A2, B1, so it's not enough to be a teacher.
No. My plan was to do all the courses at the Colombo Americano, and this is not endorsing them. This is just what happened to me. It was just a school.
All right.
And I went through all the courses according to the plan. It was 14 levels and 3 advanced courses. That's
All right.
a year and a half.
And that's B2. I mean, when you finish, it's supposed to be B2.
You're supposed to be B2,
All right.
bordering on maybe C1.
Which is enough to be a good teacher.
Yeah,
I will
you
say
get
that.
by. You get by.
Okay.
But yes, like you said, most people are not at that level when they finish the course.
Of course.
Yeah? This is
They
not-
might be able to speak, but not to transmit the language. Because, for example, Fabian, I speak Spanish, but I don't know if I'm good at teaching Spanish, which is the other thing. You could be B2 in English, but is it possible to be a good teacher with just B2? Because you have to know some other stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
The advantage of making it from scratch, from the very bottom, and then climbing up, is that you realize what's going on.
Okay.
You're aware. If you
Sure.
pay attention to what your teacher is doing, you have your favorite teacher that did this, and you're like, I want to do that
I'm
too.
going to do that
Right?
too. Okay.
And then you learn a nice trick from another teacher, and you say, that's my
There
trick
you
now.
go. Okay.
I take it. And there's that teacher that comes in and has great stories, and those stories segue into the lesson, and you're like, wow, that's fantastic.
All right.
And everybody's like, they're sitting on the edge of the chair, and they're like, oh,
Like,
paying attention.
and the
like,
class just-
this is great. And
Flies back.
Flies
Like,
by.
Oh, my God. All right.
and so I said, that's the kind of teacher I want to be. So I was taking all of these good things. Right?
And also the teacher I don't want to be. Because, you know, the teacher that goes with the tape recorder, lesson 1, and just you know, fill up the blank and those stuff.
Exactly.
That's what you say, like, I don't want to be that teacher. I don't want to teach English that way because I never understood anything from them. So I'm not going to do that. That's the other side.
And if there's any luck in this process where you're suffering on your own, pretty much is sort of like the hero's journey.
All right.
You go on this and you don't know if you're doing it well, because I hear a lot of people that say, hey, practice makes the master.
Sure.
Right? You become a master once you practice enough. And it took me a trip to the States and a long stay in a restaurant working as a server where I befriended a chef. He constantly told me, Fabian, what are you thinking? Practice doesn't make a master. What makes the master is great practice. Now, a lot of
okay.
people practice.
Oh, okay. Well,
And they keep
well,
banging their
that's-
head against the wall.
Wow, that's a good sentence.
And they're like,
over
okay,
there.
man, I practice and practice and practice. I don't learn.
That's gonna be my motto from now on, because that's what my students told me all the time, or tell me all the time. They say, "Hey, you know what? I keep practicing and practicing and practicing. I don't get it.
It's
I
not
don't,
going
I
to
don't
lead
know."
to mastery. I mean,
So
you have
they're,
to.
they're doing something wrong.
True. Not necessarily something wrong, but maybe they're not using the best resources.
All right, okay.
Or maybe they're not being creative enough in
That is
using those
so
resources
great.
in different
that is
ways.
so great. All right.
I was always creating my own ideas and testing and trying. And And whatever worked,
Okay.
then that became my bag of tricks when I became a teacher.
Yeah, but I want to go to your trip to America later on because so the story with this teacher. So you continue practicing until you got good and you felt comfortable enough to say, I am going to be a teacher. I'm ready now.
It never happens.
It never. Well,
No, it's like when when you're gonna have a kid.
exactly.
You're never ready.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna have the money. I'm gonna have the time. No, but when or what happened to you that you say like, okay, this is it. I think I have enough on my brain
never
to go.
It never happened.
Oh, come on, but
I'm a
there should be a moment in which
I
you
was
say,
saved. I
Okay.
was saved.
Okay.
Okay. I was saved by cats. I know cats are very popular on the net right now, but it's true. I used to be a watchman at night,
All right.
and that was the money that I used to pay for my courses and my materials and my private tutors.
Really, you did? Like you?
I was literally when that teacher told me, the F teacher, and that's his name, F. And we're gonna call him F, and it's no pun intended.
All right. Okay.
He's a nice guy, and he told me you can't. When he told me you can't, I heard you will.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
There's a flame inside that made you go
And
through
so-
that. But no. I mean, not everybody respond the same way. Some people get you can't, and they stay there. Like, okay, I definitely can. You took it the other way. You say like, I'm gonna show you.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
And I went absolutely nuts.
Okay.
Absolutely nuts means I was crazy. Even my parents told me, imagine your parents telling you, hey,
Stop
go outside.
studying.
Go outside.
Stop studying.
Go outside. Socialize. What's going on with you?
All right.
You know, like take a break. And I was like, no break because I'm on a mission.
Okay, guys, if you're paying attention to this is what you have to do. Fabian is telling us right now what he did to become one of the greatest teachers I've ever had. So what happened?
All right. So I was literally studying for around 10 hours in my room.
Okay, so
In my room.
many people are gonna say like, I'm not gonna do that.
Of course, I'm not going to do it. A repeat after me. Okay, the repeat after me tapes that I was using, I was acting them out.
Okay.
So I was
you-
repeating and I was acting.
You were like a
Right?
a
Like
drama.
somebody says, hey man, what are you doing here? And that's exactly what my hands were doing. Hey man, what are you doing here? I was
Okay.
trying to feel the language.
All right. Not only repeating, but also like actively leaving that conversation.
Exactly.
All right.
And that is
Wow.
always that has characterized me. I'm very histrionic, very expressive with my body, my hands, my everything. And
Okay, so if you are in a room right now and you say, okay, guys, repeat after me. Hello, everybody. And you see people like this, like, hello, everybody. You know that's not going to work.
I'm going to tell you, stand up. Don't sit on your hands. I want to see your hands moving around. Move your
And
hands
go talk to the other
talk
people.
with your hands
All right.
too, please.
Okay, so you were actively doing all those things and
On
what-
my own.
On your own.
And I was paying a private tutor and
didn't
I was paying lessons.
What about pronunciation and stuff? Because so many people say, I cannot learn by myself because I need someone to correct me all the time.
That is an excellent question. Let me tell you why. Language, if you're going to divide it into departments that you need to allocate equal attention to, let's talk about three.
All right.
The three that Cambridge defines as meaning, form, and prawn.
Meaning?
Meaning vocabulary, which you know as vocabulary. Form, meaning grammar.
Okay, yeah.
And
Structures.
then pronunciation. Why they use meaning is because when people think about vocabulary, they think about words, like how many words you know. And it's not just about words, okay? It's about expressions. It's about metaphors. It's about many things that comprise the use of those
Okay.
words.
So you would say, do not learn just words, but sentences.
No. Learn ideas.
Ideas, sentences, complete
Learn
sentences.
complete ideas that make sense to you, that are memorable and usable.
Okay.
If I know the word eraser, and that's the only word I know, and I happens to be that I normally use it, but
exactly, but now
just saying eraser is not
when
gonna
I'm in
do
a
things.
restaurant, I'm not gonna use it.
It's not gonna get me things around. You know,
All
like,
right.
I know. Let's go to a restaurant. You know, glass. You know, wine. You know. Okay,
But you
fine.
need complete sentences.
Exactly.
Like, can I get this? Would you mind telling me this?
What's the best wine on the menu? Because tonight is a special night.
Exactly.
And
this
it's not
kind of
just
sense.
wine. Special. It's not words floating around.
Exactly. Okay.
But that is about use. And then the form is very important because it's not just grammar. When people focus just on grammar, okay, then let me give you a list. You have conjugation, you have singular and plural, you have comparisons, and superlatives and comparatives. You have
superlatives and stuff.
You have the whole building of conjugation. You have conditionals, the passive voice and the active voice, and you have reported speech.
Would you agree that that is what people get scared from? Like I'm not gonna study English because I can't. I mean, I love practicing vocabulary and stuff, but I cannot stand grammar. I mean, conjugations, the S on the third person. That thing scares me away. That's what people think.
Well, it's necessary still. And I mean,
I
even
know,
if you're
I know.
scared, but
But-
there's a practical way to learn it. And everything in context is much more conducive.
There you go.
To
There you go.
communication.
Because I was gonna go there because many teachers, and I feel so lucky about that. Many teachers watch this show and they are asking me all the time, like, how can I go through grammar without suffering grammar with my students? Not only as a student, but also as a teacher. And that will be it. I mean, don't go like subject plus verb. Sometimes you have to do it, but it's more like live, act on it.
Let's take a look at this. I take a lot of pictures, but I
You do.
hardly ever spend the time to go over those pictures.
Oh, really?
Okay, so when you know grammar because you read a lot, for instance, and you notice the grammar,
Okay.
and then you study the grammar in the book, it makes sense. It's like looking at pictures,
Exactly. Okay.
right? But when you study the grammar with the intentionality of making it a productive thing in your life, like you can speak because you know the grammar, or you can write now because you know the grammar, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
But
it has to be
rather,
the other way around.
You speak, you use, you produce, you consume a lot.
All right.
You consume more sophisticatedly, maybe.
Okay.
You become a more sophisticated consumer of language. And then you go to the grammar, the whole grammar edifice that I was talking about. And then you pick one and you say, oh, yes, it makes sense. Oh, I noticed that. I hadn't really thought about it.
Okay, stop right there. But what about this? People in regular courses, they go through A1, A2, course 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they want to do it. And there's a point in which they start using present perfect, for example, or past perfect. And they think, I never use this even in Spanish.
You do, but you're not aware.
Exactly. Because they try to make this comparison, like, okay, this is like when I say buenos días, ¿cómo está? This is like the present. All right, okay, there you go. So for you, what is the best way to make people understand that grammar, even if they are not aware of it in Spanish and they tend to translate everything they do?
All right. I have something in my lessons, and it is that I use a lot of metaphor.
Okay.
So, number one, what you have to think, and the intention of learning grammar is ultimately communication.
Sure.
Period. More clear communication.
Sure.
Or clearer communication. What you do is basically, if you have better grammar, you can probably put together richer ideas out for people to listen to or read. Case in point, okay, you're gonna tell a story, and you tell a story all in the past.
All right.
Okay, let's talk about this morning. What did I do this morning? This morning I woke up. I didn't run. I went back to sleep. Later on, I woke up again. Actually, I was woken up by my son. I helped him with a piece of homework. Then he left. Then I helped get my daughter ready for school.
All right.
Then I went back to bed. That's an irregular day. Period. That's the end. All the verbs in the past. And you're like,
Yeah.
great production.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, I mastered the past.
Yeah.
But it's a very black and white production. And then it's where when you mention other structures like the past progressive, the past
Sure.
perfect, the past, the future
I was
of the
helping
past.
my daughter or
And
whatever.
then you're like, what? Where do you use one and the other? Well, if you actually see the necessity to put them in this piece of work that you just produced, I mean, the narration of your morning, and you see the need, and then you insert them in, and then you understand, okay, so this is the way it's used. Now it makes sense to me. Example, you say, this morning I didn't go for a run. I normally go for runs, but this morning I didn't. And then I went back to bed, and then I was woken up by my son, and then I got up, and he had been working on something.
Wow.
He had been
Yeah,
working.
yeah. That's
and
what
there
people
goes the
they go like,
past perfect
okay,
progressive.
I don't understand
Past
that.
perfect progressive. What is that? Boom. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, and then you explain. Well, sometimes when you're telling a story, you go from point A to point B to point C, and you follow a sequence. And sometimes you need to go back in the sequence.
Exactly.
And then you use the past perfect.
All right. Okay, that's a very good explanation. Okay, that's fantastic.
So if you're talking about the past, like a vignette, a picture of your past.
All right.
From A to Z, and you see a sequence. Now you're seeing a metaphor. Okay, the past is a sequence, and you just simply go through past, 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 past in simple form. But then if you need to go back in that sequence, use the past perfect. How about if you need to fast forward and go to the future of that sequence?
Man, I wish you would have been my math teacher because I never understood math. But I think it's because of that. Because sometimes when you have these really troublemaker sentences, you have to go like this, like picture something on your mind, and that's gonna work. That will be the second. How about pronunciation? Because that's the other thing. People say like, I cannot learn pronunciation unless I have someone next to me saying like, no, that's not correct. It's not this, but that.
Okay, so let's end with the grammar is important, but I said form, which is something else that I'll go back to. And there are two. If you have meaning, form, and pron, or vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, as the three things that you need to start filling in, you start to fill these up, and then you're ready. It's like, now my English is good, my grammar is good, my vocabulary is good, and my pronunciation is good. Okay, fine. Which do you think is the baby's arm in the development of a full body of English? Which is the baby's arm of those three? Vocabulary, grammar, or pronunciation? Like people normally say, me defiendo. That means that my vocabulary is good or my grammar is good, maybe.
No, I would say vocabulary.
Vocabulary
people
is the baby's arm?
I will say yes, because people think if I have enough vocabulary, at least I'm going to make myself understood when I'm speaking. Even if I say like, excuse me, water, thirsty, people will understand. But, and I'm not saying because I did that. I say because that's what I get from most of students, that they say like, I need to expand my vocabulary so I can be able to communicate. If I have grammar but do not have vocabulary, then I'm going to be stuck. That's, I don't know, it's like a common sense to me.
Well, the whole common European framework, even if they said it in a different way, is grammar-based, number one.
All right.
Vocabulary varies because you're interested in radio and I'm interested in running.
Exactly.
Period. Vocabulary changes. But what doesn't change is pronunciation. And the
so you would
teachers
say
that you had.
The arms is the pronunciation?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
So for you, pronunciation is number one. And
think about it for a second. What is the one question that most people want answered in the English classroom? Teacher, what's the meaning of that?
What's the meaning
Teacher,
of
what's
this?
the meaning of that? And once they
But that's
know the
vocabulary.
meaning, that's vocabulary. Once they get it, they're happy. I get it now. Yes, I can't go home and sleep at night. Yes. Okay. Vocabulary is so important. So people focus a lot on vocabulary.
Sure.
Grammar too, because it's part of the lesson.
Yeah.
Pronunciation is the baby's arm. It doesn't get developed. It's a baby's arm.
Okay.
It doesn't work. Isn't that? You have your adult arm here and the baby's arm of vocabulary.
And there are many sounds that we don't have in Spanish, and that's the problem. For example, I would say the number one. Which one is the number one for you in terms of words that are mispronounced in English? What is the word that you will say in all your life being a teacher, people make most mistakes from?
Words that begin with an S.
Okay, speaking, start, okay.
That's why we're called speaks in America.
Okay.
Oh man, you're speak. Shut up.
But you know what? I was gonna say the TH sound. Like people said thank you, Thursday, thirsty.
But I still say it's because they haven't gotten a good model, and maybe they just don't care, or I don't know. They might be another problem. But that's an easy one. I would say. Let me see. The real trouble is the two troublemakers are the R and the L.
Okay.
Especially the L. And now you're gonna ask me why the L is so simple.
Like, give me an example of a word that you consider difficult with the L. Kill.
I just say kill. I'm talking
kill.
Spanish.
Kill
right?
Bill.
Kill.
Like Kill Bill.
Kill. Okay, it's because the L in Spanish is completely flat.
Kill.
The tongue. Okay,
yeah,
the tongue is a plastic muscle. If you make it long, it goes narrow.
Okay.
If you make it short, it goes wide.
Okay.
The L in Spanish touches. I mean, like the first thing that you need to be conscious of
Pincel.
is
For example, when you say
where you put your tongue in
Yeah.
relation to your teeth
All right.
when you pronounce a certain
Okay.
consonant, like L. You say lámpara, and if
Of
you look at
course.
my teeth,
Yeah, they're
I'm
just in
touching
the back. Yeah, the back of your
okay,
teeth.
let me run stock of our teeth. We have the incisors right here.
All right.
Right. Then we have the canines.
Okay.
And then we have the bicuspids. The first row of molars, the bicuspids. From bicuspid to bicuspid, my tongue touches every.
When I
tooth.
say L.
When I say L in Spanish.
Okay. Yeah.
Lámpara.
Yeah.
So then I say natural in Spanish, pronouncing a word
Kill.
that is English. Kill.
Ah, all right. Okay, that's a good explanation.
And then when you hear kill,
But do you take like the whole class to explain? I mean, do you explain like this when
Yeah,
you're
it
in a
has to
class
be.
in order for them to understand kill?
so they can contrast one against the other. And go,
So,
I
so the
get it
answer will
now."
be what will be the answer? Like kill is just with the two front teeth.
Pay attention.
All right.
The problem with the L in English, the problem for us, is that it curves like this.
All right.
Well,
Show
if
it to the
if
camera. Show it to the camera. Well,
Oh.
it goes like this. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
oh, so the tongue curls. A good exercise is to use a pen. I wish I had a clean pen.
A clean. Yeah. I
Even
don't
if
know
you give me
have
a pen, I don't know if it's clean.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I wouldn't give you one.
I would put it right here, like secure it against my
Okay.
canines and bicuspids,
And then trying to pronounce.
and roll my tongue around the pen
All
until
right.
it lands in the back of my teeth.
Oh, of course, because it's gonna be like.
It forces the tongue to go like this.
All right.
And you go, and you get it.
And
you
then-
start to hear it. And then you say kill.
And then you say love.
And people say, but teacher, did you say kill? No, I didn't say kill. I say kill. The thing is that when the tongue curls like this, it generates that extra sound.
Okay.
That bug of a sound that you could say is, I don't know, it's, I normally call it just a stupid sound. And it's the schwa.
Oh,
The most common sound of English.
my God.
The schwa.
Yeah.
The stupid sound. Anyway, so it's generated there. It's a very small sound that comes out there, and you confuse with an O. I didn't say kill, I said kill.
All right.
But how comes it comes naturally to you? Because I curl my tongue like that.
Okay.
My tongue goes narrow because I just touch my my center incisors from the inside. So my tongue turns into a tip and touches right here.
Wow.
To do that, it goes narrow, and when it goes narrow, it grows long, and so I need to curl it.
All right. All right.
So it's all physiology.
But for example, people normally tell me, I watch Friends, the sitcom, for example, or Seinfeld. And do you think it's a good idea for me to try to imitate the way they speak? Because, they speak like this. And I say, yes. I mean, it's like when you speak.
Well,
I would say, like, for example, if you're learning Italian or Portuguese, that they have this rhythm, it has to go like this. Because, for example, I can speak Paisa, and you know that. I can speak Paisa English and do like our president and like this. And it doesn't sound quite good. So I would
Okay.
say that you also have to imitate that
You do.
sound.
You do.
Of course.
and the ideas, how they express those ideas, right?
Exactly.
And yes, its accent is attached to a geographical place, but it's also part of your character's makeup.
Sure. That's why they have different accents in
So
different
you
regions.
have Phoebe, and you have Joey, and you have Chandler, and you have Ross, and you have Monica, and you have, I forgot one. Anyway,
Chandler, Monica,
Now,
Phoebe,
those-
Rachel.
Rachel, and so they're different types of personalities,
All right.
right? And as such, they speak in a different way.
Of
They have
course.
different mannerisms when they speak.
Even though they are, I think 5 of them are from New York, and they live in the same area. So
It doesn't matter.
You will say they will have the same way of speaking or pronunciation of stuff because they are from the same area.
they're confined idiomatically, but the accent is something that also comes from your parents, your aunts,
Okay.
your uncles, whoever was
Yeah, maybe you
around
speak
you
different
when you were
and
growing
we were
up
from
a lot.
from the same city, but maybe you speak differently. Okay.
Exactly. So basically, what you need to do is observe the one person that you most relate to. Like, okay, I think that I'm more like Joey right now. I decide. So you just follow
But
Joey.
in terms of personality,
Follow
you would say
Joey.
that?
In terms of personality and in terms of what he expresses when he speaks, how he says it,
all right,
and maybe some of the things that happen to him.
Exactly. So I will try to speak more like him.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right.
Now, following on that, like going a little bit further, there's a show that I recommend a lot.
All right.
It's called Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, okay.
That's Larry David.
Larry David,
he
the
was
producer
of Seinfeld.
Okay. Very funny.
But this show is about him. So you just follow him, you trail him around. And the interesting thing, that the premise of the show is that he overreacts to everything that happens.
Exactly. He's always hysterical and stuff.
He's always mad at everything.
Exactly.
So, and he speaks it out. It's not like you when you're in line and you see somebody cut into the line in front of you, you're like...
Yeah, you want to curse and you want to say something.
You don't say
different.
anything
Exactly.
because obviously we're civilians. But he is
Supposedly.
not. He is not. He immediately lets you know what's on his mind. Okay?
All right.
So that's important. And you follow him and you see how he reacts to things that are mundane, that are everyday, that are common.
Okay.
And then you start to imitate that. I mean, you don't need to become a grumpy old man, but you understand how people react. And you can react now.
But you know what? I mean, all this is very interesting, but I want to go back a little bit because this is the main story that I wanted to tell my students, and is that finally you were studying like a maniac and you were talking to people. I mean, it was not only your room. I guess you did some other things like talking to natives at some point, or you were watching TV.
I hired private tutors.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you expect from those tutors?
That was the money that I was making.
Okay. What did you expect from them? Not because I think, because I know you weren't expecting just a regular class. You were expecting something else.
Okay, now there's the difference here. And what I tell my private students, I don't know if you can be a private student. You want to buy my services, but I don't know if you're ready.
Okay.
Because being a private student means that you're going to be, what do you think, involved or committed? What do you think?
Both, I guess. Especially committed, because you're going to give me homework that I have to go and
I'm
work.
going to tell you a joke. There was a pig and a chicken that wanted to open a restaurant.
A pig and a chicken,
Yeah.
they wanted to open a restaurant.
Oh man, yes, good idea, says the chicken. How about we call the restaurant Ham and Eggs? And the pig is like, well, I'm not sure, man. Why not, says the chicken. Because then that means that you would be involved with the eggs, and I would be committed.
Okay.
I'm the ham.
Okay. So
I would say,
in this case, your answer would be...
You need to be a pig to be a private student. And get your money's
committed.
worth.
All right.
I mean, because it's not paying a person to be with you one-to-one.
Okay, this is a very good video. This is a very good video to be called How to Be a Great Teacher. But now this section will be How to Be a Great English Student.
Exactly.
Which is what? What for you? What
you need to do a lot. I mean,
Okay.
what do I expect of a private student that is good? The minimum. Bring me a lot of questions.
All right.
I mean, don't come for me to fill you in with information. Rather, come here and test me as a teacher.
So if you have a student that comes and you say, do you have any questions? And he or she says, like, no, actually not.
I'm actually looking at my watch. Shoot, 20 more minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But when the student comes with questions, he said, okay, and I looked at this, and can we read this? I read it, but I'm not sure. Can you pronounce this?
That's
boom,
a committed student.
boom,
That's a
question
committed
after, and that's a committed student.
All right.
That's a pig.
Okay.
And that's my pig. I like those.
Okay.
I was a pig, by the way.
But one thing, and I'm going to tell my students about this, one thing that I was really impressed when I met you at the beginning, and when I heard that you had never, because you didn't tell me this, somebody else did. They said, Fabian, he has never gone to America or England or whatsoever. Is that you knew, and it still blows me away, that you know words that I would say, like, when am I going to use those words? I mean, in what context? And that's something that me as a teacher and me as a student could be a little bit concerned. Like, I know the regular words. I know microphone, computer, cameras. But what about this little thing? What about that little thing?
That concerned me a lot in the past. Not anymore. Not
anymore, because you have like a Bible of words in your hand now.
I don't know if it comes to that level, but my concern really, and what I transmit to my students from when they're beginning, is pay attention to how English understands the world, because it's different from Spanish sometimes. The metaphors. And I'm going to recommend a book.
All right.
I'm going to fully endorse this book for the advanced students.
All right.
It's called Metaphors to Live By. Anyway, it's George Lakoff,
Okay.
Lakoff. When I found this author and his work of metaphors, I'm like, you know, it was like the before and after.
That's a
of
great
my English.
that's a great recommendation, because
The
a lot of
before and
people
after.
keep asking me, and I keep asking myself, how can I make my vocabulary wider? Like, how can I make my brain full of words that could be used
Well,
at that at that point?
Right now, we're in the era of the soft skills.
Uh-huh.
The soft skills, I mean, it's not good to be an accountant anymore. You have to be a person that knows soft skills and be an accountant.
Okay.
For the English learner, the soft skill is metaphor. You hear the soft skill of being empathetic to people.
All right.
If you're empathetic, you're good on at your radio show.
Sure.
And whatever.
People
As a
like
teacher,
you and stuff.
People like you because you care and
That's
you
it.
show that, and
Sure.
they know, so they feel important. That's a soft skill, to be empathetic to people. And when you are learning a language, you need to be empathetic to the people that speak that language natively.
Okay.
Now,
so
how do you
that
accomplish
means to be
that?
open and like a sponge absorbing those
Exactly.
new
I mean,
words.
how many times have you heard like, man, but that doesn't make sense to me? I mean, like he said that. I mean, like when the teacher said that, he was like, "Oh, I can see Michael coming up," and I'm like,
I can
coming
see-
up. I just don't understand. I thought that up was in this direction, but I
Exactly.
don't see any stairs anywhere.
Exactly.
So what
coming
did he
up.
mean
What
by
is the,
coming
what is
up?
coming up? What is coming up?
Exactly. And so then when you start studying metaphor, you understand, okay, so English originated in a small island called England, and there is sea all around, and you see the ships in the distance as small specks that starts to grow as they move towards you.
That's
they
the,
move up.
that's the up
Yes,
that
that's
you were
the up
talking
part.
before. Oh, okay.
And then you're like, okay.
Wow, that's
now that
great.
makes sense.
So learn English with metaphors.
Metaphors.
That will be.
I mean, no,
the greatest
learn the
recommendation.
metaphors of English.
Of course.
Like, okay,
like,
George
like the
Lakoff.
same in Spanish. Like, for example, the same in Spanish. And I'm going to say something that is very Colombian. I'm sorry, people who are watching this from Mexico and other countries. But when we say, for example, tengo mucho filo, means that I'm very, very hungry. And it's not the edge of a knife,
No.
for example. And a person that is learning Spanish here in Colombia, if they know that would be very impressive. That will be something like, wow, you really know Spanish. How can you know that? That is something that we have, like the secret idioms or the secret languages we have. And that's the thing, that sometimes they go like this. They say coming up, and we say coming up? No, I mean, he's coming to me.
Exactly, he's growing as he comes, so
okay.
he grows up as he comes. Now, the idea with metaphors...
But nobody teaches like that. I
No,
mean, and I'm not
no,
saying this
no.
in a bad way. I'm saying this like, I wish more teachers would teach like that, like with the metaphors. Like so somebody will teach you, like, you know, English comes from England, and, you know, ships were, you know, far away, and they were just coming up.
Let me give you an example that is going to fascinate you. You have a relationship. How do Americans understand a relationship? According to George Lakoff, it's a vehicle. When you're in the vehicle, people get on or get into this vehicle to go to a common destination, for
Okay,
example.
Sure.
Okay? When a relationship ends, people get off because they're not going in the same direction. That's why when you get married and your wife is finishing that PhD that she's finishing, and you're helping,
Yeah.
you're going in that direction, so you get in the car.
Sure.
And you're happy. Maybe when she graduates, things change. You get off, you find a new wife, for example.
Okay.
Now, the idea with the vehicle allows you to understand many expressions that are idiomatic and are used in this context in America. For example, our relationship right now is on the rocks.
On the rocks.
So we're in a rocky patch.
Okay, so we're not
Or
good. We're
we-
not so good.
We are at a dead end. So we need to
Okay,
come
so-
back.
yeah, we're not gonna.
We're not
not
going in
gonna
that
go
direction
any
anymore.
direction.
We need to
Okay,
come back.
That's a great
Or we need to
example.
bail. We need to get out of here.
All
Okay,
right.
like in parachutes. Because this is not going anywhere and we need to be saved, etc. And so when you have
What
the
about
idea of the
break
vehicle-
up? What about break up? Because people understand break up, but maybe if they go deep on those metaphors, they will understand a little bit more.
At the very least, they start to connect ideas,
Wow.
maybe in a particularized, individualized way. They say like, oh, now that makes sense, according to the vehicle metaphor.
All right.
So it's interesting to understand I would say the background of
Okay.
English.
But I'm going to give you some trouble over here.
Okay.
You understand that because you understand the way Americans have a relationship in this particular example. You understand coming up because you remember that England has, oceans and stuff. How can you learn that from here when you haven't traveled? When you don't know the culture because you haven't been there? You only know your culture and you want to, make it out in a very positive way, being a good at English. Because, I don't know how Americans react to relationships.
Experience is of a certain nature. You have the experience firsthand. Some people have secondhand, like when somebody's smoking next to you, right?
Exactly.
And you still get high, right?
Yeah.
Fine.
And your clothing
So
is
it is
smoking.
called vicarious experience.
Vicarious experience?
Yeah, that means that you were not there, you didn't do it,
Okay.
but you saw the person who did it, for example, on the screen.
Okay.
To have vicarious experience, you need to be involved. You're not committed right there in the scene that is going on
But you're
on the
involved
TV.
in a certain way.
You're involved because you're paying attention and you're interested and you're following the actors. That's experience too. I mean, you don't really need to go to America. Eventually, you need to bring forth to production all of those things that you've been consuming.
Okay.
And more sophisticated consumption generates more sophisticated production.
All right.
Okay? Sometimes people say, just turn that TV on and I start sweeping around and I make my bed and I do the dishes and I'm listening.
But they're not committed.
They're not involved in there actively, right? Not enrolled. When you're enrolled, you do different things with the video that you're watching. Probably something that worked a lot for me in terms of pronunciation. Very interesting exercise that I fully recommend and endorse is watch an episode that you like. Watch it once or twice. Because you like it, you can watch it even 3-4 times.
Yeah,
right?
sure, definitely.
And you watch it many times. And then you just listen to it. What happens? What does your brain do? Your brain processes gestalts. That's one of the many theories. It's like complete stimuli packages where there is multimedia. You saw the images and you heard the sound. That's two media. Mm-hmm. And then, boop, you cancel one and you only have one channel. Is the sound. What does your brain do? Patches over.
We start making images about what we...
You see them.
Exactly.
You see the actors again.
Sure.
But your brain is making you think. I mean, it's producing those actors. The missing part.
And that's what you do sometimes? Like
I did it a lot.
Okay.
And it gave me confidence because then I was producing
so that's why
passively.
That's why we didn't understand when we were students the audio of these two British people talking because we don't even know who they are or how do they look like or the original situation.
Could be. I mean, many of the things that we don't learn, and this goes for everybody. I hope that I'm doing you a favor. A lot of people say like, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this. And guess who says that? People that are brilliant. I hardly ever hear people I cannot do this kind of people that are not brilliant. Normally the brilliant people that do things that you're like, wow, I admire you for what you do.
Okay.
And then they come to learn a language and they can't. I tell you why. The brain of a person that is very sophisticated in the way he or she sees the world is very practical. And anything that doesn't make sense is canceled out.
Wow.
So if you're trying to understand the British people that are imaginary, your brain says like, for the birds, I'm not going to pay attention. Your brain is sabotaging your act.
Of course.
And then you're like, self-flagellating and saying like, it's my fault, I'm just not good.
This is not meant to be for me.
And then I met the president of one of the biggest companies here as my student once, and he sent me on a mission that I'm still on. He's like, okay, you know what, Fabian? I just came back from Switzerland, and I was with all these bankers, and I was wearing my best suit, and I felt like a monkey in that suit. Please, Fabian, do me a favor.
They were speaking a lot, and he didn't understand.
Promise me that you're gonna make me intelligent in English.
Wow.
I'm like, but you're already super intelligent. How do I do this?
He's an
right.
He probably is one of
his call for was pretty much actualize me.
Okay.
I am this person. Make me this person
but
over.
in English.
Clone me into English.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're still working on it.
Of course.
Once you get it, please come back to the show and let us know what you did.
Number one, I mean, like, fully convince yourself that the first thing that you need to learn in language is who you are,
All right.
what you do, your hobbies, your friends, what you do when you hang out with your friends, and then your professional stuff, what you do when you are at work. What matters to you the most.
So one suggestion would be like start from that. Like, okay, if you barely know English, like you or whatever level you have, sit down and think about yourself and try to describe yourself in terms of who am I, what do I do, and all those stuff.
And that would be my favorite pig as a student. Now, let me tell you who is the star student that I've never found.
Okay.
The star student that I've never found. It can
I
be
feel
any
kind
level.
of I feel kind of hurt because I was your student once, but, okay.
But no,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You're wonderful, but I'm talking about one specific course
Yeah,
of action that I need to see that
okay.
I haven't seen.
Okay.
Is a person that takes matter in his own or her own hands and says, you know what? I'm going to actualize myself, and I just need you to make sure that I'm doing it right.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so
I'm gonna learn, and then I'm gonna go to you just to approve what I'm doing.
Exactly, so I can check.
So you're looking you. You're looking
looking for
yourself.
myself.
Yeah, because that's what you did. This is how you learned.
Exactly. So I need that. I need to leave that
Exactly.
for when I'm gone.
All right. Okay.
Now, the idea is, it's pretty easy today with technology.
Exactly.
Super easy.
And now that unfortunately we have to wrap it up, that will be the summary. You can learn English by yourself.
Oh my God.
It's absolutely possible, and especially now, more than 20 years ago.
Think about the green algorithm we know by the name Google Translate.
All right.
And people have turned this into a demon. Oh my God, Google Translate. Oh my God, no, what are you
No,
doing?
don't use it.
Yeah. It screws you. It's bad. It's not good. Well, if you use periods instead of commas, if you make sure that not every subject is tacit if it cannot be, and if you put your tildes in Spanish, we're bringing Spanish to English, if you put your tildes where they're supposed to be, Google is going to be magical.
Wow.
Yes. And then translate everything that happens to you every day. Like, hoy vine aquí, estuve haciendo esto con Alejo, hablamos de esto, blah, 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 blah.
And then try to put it in Google.
Study it in English. Study the English production right there. That is your own personalized textbook.
Wow.
Learn the grammar, the vocabulary, the pronunciation of that
So
script.
the tool is not bad, as people say. It's just the use of the tool that is bad.
Is the user.
Wow, man! I mean, this is amazing. We have to do another show together.
Yeah, I think that this was not enough.
Exactly.
I'm
it's
not. I'm not happy.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I'm happy.
I am.
I'm happy
Absolutely.
that finally I'm on this show because I admire you a lot.
Oh man!
And,
Don't say that.
And I want to be back because I think that we
will.
have a lot to say.
We will, because I know a lot of teachers will kill me, and they will say, hey, I want to know more about how to teach, because you're a great teacher and you just gave us 15, 20 good advices. And they're going to come to me and say, I need Fabian to be again in your show. Fabian, before we go, you just started a very good YouTube channel. You must follow this channel, and also an Instagram account. Tell us a little bit about that. How can we find you? You've been, guys, reading all the time his Instagram account and everything. What are we going to find in your YouTube channel? And tell us a little bit about
when I
that.
began with Fabulous Fabes, and why Fabulous Fabes? Because that was what I was called in the States when I worked in a restaurant. Hey, Fabulous Fabes, what's up?
Okay,
So I
because
was Fabulous
Fabian,
Fabes.
because your name.
I'm Fabian. So
Right.
Fabian in America, and they used to call me Fabes, short version, nickname. And so, yes, Fabulous Fabes started just as a way to vent out anger and frustration. And so I began with videos that talked about peeves. A pet peeve is something that doesn't let you sleep at night. You're like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
and
the little drop that goes on the sink, for
many
example.
students complain about pronunciation is hard, grammar is hard, vocabulary is hard for different reasons. My peeve is, come on, nothing is hard. Just admit, is new.
Okay.
It's more new to you
Wow,
maybe
that's
than to
a great
me.
sentence again. Nothing is
Nothing's
hard.
hard, it's just new.
English is not hard. It's just new.
Is pronunciation hard? The pronunciation of the L? Not anymore, because Fabian explained, now it's not new. But it was new before, so it was
So
hard.
now it's not hard because
It's just
it's not
new.
new. Great.
Some things are more new than others,
Okay.
if you want to treat it that way. So to me, it was a way to reach out to people and say, you know what? Don't be stupid. I'm going to teach you how to use the narrative tenses in one single go. So you don't have to go to the lesson where you learn the simple past, the past progressive, the past perfect, and the other one. But I'm going to tell you how to use it in one ecosystem.
Wow.
Right? And I'm going to tell you how to learn pronunciation on your own and what to focus on. How the English is like an accordion, while Spanish is like, and that's the whole difference.
So are we going to find that in your channel?
Yes.
Okay, great,
And
great.
so when and my Instagram is where I post most small bits of information
Exactly.
that I just think of at the spur of the moment. It's like, okay, cool.
This is
I'm
going to be
gonna
interesting to
mention this.
people. All right, all right.
And many idiomatic expressions that we don't know how to bridge over to English.
How often do you upload videos for people to see?
I normally upload 3 videos per week.
Oh, that's a lot.
I'm gonna try to upload more this week because I'm finishing up a course that is for true beginners, people that know nothing.
So they can go like from zero, from
That's the
scratch.
A0, yes, A0.
Okay, great, great.
So like I don't know the verb to be, and so I
So
explain.
fabulous fab.
Fabulous fabes.
Fabs.
Fabulous as in fabulous.
Okay.
Fabuloso in English, and fabes is F-A-B-E-S.
Isn't that a little bit like ego over there, like the name?
Very much.
Hey, Fabian, thank you very much. And this is, I mean, I'm going to promise and commit to this. You're going to be back not only once, but many times because we have a lot to learn from you.
Oh,
and
I like to speak.
And
I have many peeves.
I know. Thank you very much for being on the show, and I'm looking
Thank you
forward
for
to
inviting me
being here
once again. True admirer, and thank you very much for having me here. It's
All
an
right.
honor and a privilege. And
No,
thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Now you know his channel, and you can go there and look it up. And I will be seeing you on the next show of ALEJO Show. Thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you later, my friends.
Welcome to
The ALEJO Show.